I want to start by welcoming you. My name is Luke Frederick, and this is an informational presentation on Café La Vie. In this presentation, we're going to cover three main areas: the why behind Café La Vie, the concepts which influence Café La Vie, and the third are the concept objectives for Café La Vie. Let's get started. The why behind Café La Vie. Café La Vie is built on the platform of the Bridging the Gap website. The intention of Café La Vie is to connect local and national authors and artists to the women of Minnesota and the United States. It's supposed to be like sitting down and you're having a cup of coffee with an individual, where there's a conversation, where you're open, where you're candid, where you're sharing God's process in your life and the different challenges, and to challenge that individual as well. So if you can imagine sitting down at a cafe or a coffee shop and having a cup of coffee with an individual, that's basically what Café La Vie is like, except online. And the reason we've chosen online is because of the reach of the internet. I want to take a quick moment here and touch down on some statistics which really highlight the potential of the internet in today's society and culture. I want to start with MySpace. MySpace is a social networking website which allows users to build profiles, upload pictures and videos, and then have friends and make comments on their profile and on their pictures and on their videos. MySpace is believed to have over 200 million registered users. That's like a small country. That is a lot of people connecting online and communicating back and forth. Another really powerful tool on the internet are search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing. I want to focus on Google because Google is one of the main ones. It was reported in 2006 that there were 2.6 billion searches on Google every month. That is a lot of searches. That number grew in 2008 to 31 billion searches on Google every month. That is 31 billion times that somebody came to Google, put a word in, and Google searched all of the websites in the world and pulled up the most relevant searches. That is a lot of information being processed. Another way that we are connecting and communicating is through mobile devices in text messaging. The first commercial text message was sent in 1992, and today the number of text messages sent and received every day exceeds the total population of the planet. I'm going to say that again. Today the number of text messages both sent and received every day exceeds the total population of the planet. That is a lot of communication. The other area I want to target now is how long it took a market to reach an audience of 50 million. The first one we're going to talk about today is the radio. The radio took 38 years to reach a target audience of 50 million. The television, 13 years. 13 years to make an audience of 50 million. The internet, get this, 4 years. It took 4 years for the internet to have an audience of 50 million. Then came the iPod, and the iPod only took 3 years. 3 years to reach an audience of 50 million. Finally, the social media giant Facebook only took 2 years. From its creation to reach an audience of 50 million, it only took 2 years. That is a substantial connecting point. The internet has created an environment where connection can happen at an accelerated rate like we've never seen before. From the radio being 38 years to now Facebook only needing 2 years to create an audience of 50 million. The next part I want to go into is the number of internet devices which exist. In 1984, it was reported that there were 1,000 internet devices in existence. In 1992, that number had grown to 1 million, and in 2008, you got it, 1 trillion. That is a lot of internet devices connecting to the internet and communicating and gathering resources, and that is where Café La Vie is positioned, is online with all of these internet devices having access to it if they want it. With that comes just a lot of information, and you've heard we're in the informational age, but I wanted to highlight what that really looks like. The informational age, what does that look like? And it's said that with the New York Times, in 1 week, there's more information in the New York Times than a person was likely to come across in a lifetime in the 18th century. I'm going to say that one more time. In 1 week's worth of New York Times, there contains more information than a person was likely to come across in a lifetime in the 18th century. That is a lot of information. That is a lot of resources passing back and forth through the internet. And that is where Bridging the Gap is positioned, is online. And that's why we've chosen it as a platform. So that's a little bit about the why. Now let's talk about the concepts which influence Cafe La Vie. There are four main influences to Cafe La Vie. Cafe La Vie is not a new creation, it's a hybrid of four different ones. And I want to talk about what that is and why Cafe La Vie is what it is. The first is blog, the second podcast, Twitter, and finally television. Let's cover blog. What we have pulled from the blog world is its ability to have relevant information and comments. So we, for Cafe La Vie, we are wanting to create a world with video blogs and with your devotional thoughts and resources in the forum, a place where relevant information can be talked about. So as you're thinking through the topics and the illustrations, we want it to be as relevant as possible. The second part are the comments. We are going to have comment threads and forums where people can talk about what you're talking about. And in that place for comments, you also can interact with the individuals. From podcasts, we're pulling the determined format in the subscriptions. So with Cafe La Vie, we want it to be organic. We want it to be like a conversation, but at the same time, there is a format that we are asking you to kind of follow, so that there is some structure to it and some consistency. Yet we want it to be organic. We want it to be like a conversation. So there will be a determined format. You can find that on the training website. Also, the subscriptions part, people will be able to subscribe to Cafe La Vie and be alerted when a new Cafe La Vie guest is uploaded to the internet. Twitter, we are going to pull the personal thought aspect and how concise it is. The personal thought part of Twitter, what Twitter is a 140 character mini blog, which somebody will post, and it will be sent to all of their followers, which can range from 50 to 1 million followers. We're kind of going to take that concise personal thought and adapt that to Cafe La Vie. We're wanting Cafe La Vie video blogs to be no more than 3 to 5 minutes to 7 minutes, keeping it relatively short and concise. We don't want it to run for 15 or 20 minutes. We want to keep it a little shorter and let it be really concise and to the point. So as you're prepping, just keep that in mind. For the TV, we are pulling the scheduled guest aspect and then once again the format. So with Cafe La Vie, we're going to have a list of guests that are coming in a chronological order, as well as an archive of the chronological guests who have been on Cafe La Vie. So that is kind of going to be influencing Cafe La Vie, these four areas. Now let's move to the third and final part, the concept objectives for Cafe La Vie. The first one is we're hoping that people feel known when they come to Cafe La Vie, that they would feel like they know you and that they are known by you. This will happen through the comments, and it'll also happen through you being open and being transparent with what you're talking about. The second area is friendship, that friendships could be formed online. This will happen as they get to know you through your different experiences and stories, as well as through the communication on the comments and the forums. The third area is curiosity. We want their curiosity to be met. We want you to be candid. We want you to be open. Kind of that this would be a place, the only place where they can get the information that you're going to give. We want them to have a curiosity of what's happening in your life and having that curiosity be met by you being open and candid with what's happening. The fourth area is value. Whatever we're talking about in Cafe La Vie, we want there to be a real value. So as you're prepping and thinking through that, just try to bring as much value to it through illustrations and through resources as you can. The last piece is dialogue. We want there to be a dialogue in Cafe La Vie. That'll happen through comments and through the forum. So if you have time and you're open, make sure to check those comment threads on your topic and be a part of that, be an active part of the community. This kind of covers the three areas for Cafe La Vie. We hope that this helps you understand it a little better. We are so grateful that you're a part of this and that you're willing to come and be a guest on Cafe La Vie. And we want to say thank you, and we hope that you have fun with it.